I was 25 and living in the worst neighborhood of Denver at the time with my boyfriend. We had a big bay window where I could safely watch all the daily drama unfold. And I mean drama within just 3 months. There was a murder across the street. Not long after that, there was a robbery gone wrong, and I literally watched a cop shoot the guy in the leg. Then one day, there was a massive apartment fire in the same building where the murder had happened. So I called 911. While I was on the phone, I stepped out into the shared hallway. There were 6 units in the building with a locked main entrance. I don't even know why I wandered out there, but I did. As I stood in the hallway, I suddenly heard noise coming from the back door. I looked over and saw, through the small window, a man I didn't recognize trying violently to get in. Then he saw me. He shouted, "There's a fire! You need to let me in." Every hair on my body stood up. Something felt completely off. Why was he at the back door when the fire was out front? I pointed to my phone and said, "I'm on the phone with the police right now," and I did not open the door. The moment I said that, he gave up and walked away. The next day, I told a few coworkers what had happened, and they told me horror stories about people using emergencies like that to trick their way inside and rob or even kill others. What the actual fuck? This is a story my mom has told me for years. Before I was born, my parents were stuck at the airport in Puerto Vallarta, trying to get back to Chicago. Their United Airlines flight kept getting delayed over and over again. After hours of waiting almost, 18 in total, they were exhausted and ended up sleeping on the floor. At that point, my mom begged my dad to just get on a different flight. There was an Alaska Airlines flight heading to Seattle, and she just wanted to get back to the US and figure things out from there. But my dad immediately refused. He kept saying, "I'm not getting on that plane." My mom always thought that was strange because he's not usually like that. She said she was sitting there crying, watching people bored, wishing she was getting on too. While she was watching, she noticed a little girl, probably around 4 years old with blonde, curly hair, wearing a white sundress, walking onto the plane. My mom said that, for some reason, seeing her made her feel a little better for a moment, like everything was going to be okay, even though she was still upset. The plane took off, and eventually my parents got on a different flight home. When they landed, they found out that Alaska Airlines Flight 261 crash had gone down, and everyone on board had died. My mom said she cried for days, especially when she thought about that little girl she saw. What's always stuck with me is this: if they had gotten on that flight, I wouldn't exist. That alone is hard to process. But what makes it even stranger is that I've tried looking through victim lists and photos, and I can't find anyone who matches the little girl my mom described. If anyone knows where to find a full victims list with pictures or anything like that, I'd really like to see it, just to be able to put a face to this story my mom has always told me. I moved in with my dad when I was 10 and didn't know anyone in the area except for one family he was friends with. It was a single mom with 3 kids. Luckily, there was a girl a couple of years older than me. She was 12 when I met her, and we got to know each other over the next couple of years. We weren't very close, but we ended up sharing the same group of friends. One night, my friend Rob was hanging out at her house with her and her younger brother. They were home alone because their mom was at work. That's where this story turns both terrifying and heartbreaking. Their mom had been helping a woman through her job and had gotten to know her pretty well. At some point, she learned that the woman's sister had been in a mental institution and had recently been released. That night, while Rob was there, they heard a knock at the door. My friend thought it was her mom. She had a specific way of knocking, so she opened the door without thinking. Rob wasn't supposed to be there, so he panicked and climbed out the window, running back to his house down the street. He didn't think much of it at the time, but it wasn't her mom. It was the sister of the woman their mom had been helping. Somehow, through conversations with her sister, she had figured out where the family lived and what the mom's work schedule was. She walked inside. This is where I don't know all the details, and honestly, I'm glad I don't, my friends. younger brother managed to escape and ran to a neighbor's house to call the police. The woman murdered my friend just 1 week before Christmas. She left her body in the bathtub and hid part of her remains somewhere in the house. The police had to search everything, including the Christmas presents. I don't know exactly where they found it, but they did. I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral.